Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Jai Om Shabbat Brahmansa Privrata Sarasi Srimad Bhashananda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sikh Ho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Basari Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai. Sisi Radha Madhava Govinath Shama Kunrada Kundgiri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Simthura Dham Ki Jai. Navadip Mayavadham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Sangha Veda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Janitai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the December devotees. Glories to the December devotees. All glories to the December devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru Gauranga. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Agyanhan Dhirandasya Gyanan Gyanan Salakaya Chakshurumidhamrit Tashmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutare Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shandvari Pasarisatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Basari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome all the viewers to Sridhar Mahaprabhu's reading of Krishna book, summary of the 10th canto of Sri Srimad Bhagavatam by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We're reading from chapter 37, entitled Killing the Keshi Demon and Vyomasura. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. After being instructed by Kamsa, the demon Keshi assumed the form of a terrible horse. He entered the area of Vrindavan with the speed of the mind, his great mane flying and his hooves digging up the earth. He began to whinny and terrify the whole forest. Krishna saw that the demon was terrifying all the residents of Vrindavan with his whinnying and his tail wheeling in the sky like a big cloud. Krishna could understand that the horse was challenging him to fight. The Lord accepted his challenge and stood before the Keshi demon, calling him to fight. The horse then ran towards Krishna, making a horrible sound like a roaring lion. His jaws spread wide open as if to swallow the whole sky. Keshi rushed towards the Lord with great speed and tried to trample him with his legs, which were strong, forceful, and as hard as stone. Krishna, however, immediately caught hold of his legs and thus baffled him. Being somewhat angry, Krishna began to whirl the horse around. After a few rounds, he contemptuously threw him 100 yards away, just as Garuda throws a big snake. Thrown by Krishna, the horse immediately passed out. But after a little while, he regained consciousness, and with great anger and force, again rushed towards Krishna with his mouth open. The Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says when Krishna was standing there and taunting Keshi, That you want to fight? And he put his hand up like that, put his thumb up. You want something to eat? Come on. Come on. Left hand. So, as soon as Keshi reached him, Krishna puts his left arm within the horse's mouth. It looked like a big snake had entered a hole in the field. The horse felt great pain because the arm of Krishna felt to him hot, like an iron rod. Immediately his teeth fell out, so he couldn't bite him. Krishna's arm within the mouth of the horse at once began to expand, and Krishna's throat choked up. It's like when he entered the mouth of Aghasura, Krishna expanded himself and choked Aghasura also. So as the great horse suffocated, perspiration appeared on his body, and he threw his legs hither and thither. As his last breath came, his eyeballs bulged in their sockets, and he passed stool and urine simultaneously. Thus, the vital force of his life expired. When the horse was dead, his mouth became loose, and Krishna could extract his hand without difficulty. He did not feel any surprise that the Keshi demon was killed so easily. But the demons in the sky were amazed, and out of their great appreciation they offered Krishna greetings by showering flowers. Bye-bye Keshi. So Krishna, he very easily, nonchalantly takes his big horse, right? He said his mane was like his tail was like the clouds in the sky. A very big form he took. But Krishna grabbed him, swirled him round, and threw him very easily, 100 yards, long way. It looks like an impossible task. And then when he rushed at him again, Krishna pushed his left hand in his mouth and broke all his teeth, expanded his arm, it became very hot, and the demon gave up his body. So it wasn't, Krishna wasn't showing much surprise or chivalry. Whatever all the demigods were, this tiny little boy could so easily deal with it insignificantly, treat him insignificantly, this huge demon. That's because this is the Keshi demon is just a product of Krishna's inferior energy. And it's Krishna's energy. Krishna transforms the spiritual energy into material energy. So at will he can, everything is under his control. He is actually the supreme controller. It's his energy he's dealing with. So the energy is taken form of a horse, a very ferocious demon, but it doesn't, not going to bother Krishna because he's the controller of that energy. So he knows perfectly. So him to pick up a huge horse and throw him 100 yards without difficulty is not difficult for Krishna because he controls gravity, he controls space. Yeah. So these things are not so wonderful for Krishna, but everyone else seeing them, all the conditioned souls in the material world, they think it's very wonderful. It is a very wonderful feat. In other words, Krishna is not subject to nature. He can defy the laws of nature. They don't act on him like they do on us. So therefore it's very surprising and wonderful. So in the Chaitanya Shikshamrita, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is given the killing of the demons. He uses them as the analogy of how we can get rid of the different anarthas which are impediments to pure Raja Bhakti. So Keshi Badaha, this represents the slaying of proud vanity. of thinking, I am a big devotee and guru. Here, Krishna also casts out the false ego of attachment to wealthy opulences surrounding mundane worldly accomplishments. In other words, everyone is proud of what they've done and their position, what they've achieved in the material world, with their wealth and and are proud of their being a big devotee, even the guru. So Krishna takes that pride away by this exhibition of killing Keshi, because Keshi is very proud. But in all of these demons, you see that pride is mentioned a lot. It's how Krishna is killing the pride, because the false ego is it leads one to, it makes one proud in any position practically you're in the material world. It says a pauper is proud of his penny. It means a pauper means a very poor man. If he's got one rupee, he thinks something. So although everyone is insignificant in the material world, we become proud of our position and proud of our achievements. So hearing these stories of Krishna, how easily he dispenses with great obstacles like big demons, very easily, then we can become free of pride next to Krishna, because he can remove those things so easily. But we have to work so hard to get any kind of position, any kind of power. But any kind of position or power compared with Krishna's is very insignificant. So hearing these pastimes of Krishna will bring us back to reality, that we're maybe not as good as we expect other people to see us as. Okay, after this incident, Narada Muni, the greatest of all devotees, came to see Krishna in a solitary place and began to talk with him. My dear Lord Krishna, he said, you are the unlimited super soul, the supreme controller of all mystic powers, the Lord of the whole universe, the all-pervading personality of Godhead. You are the resting place of the cosmic manifestation, the master of all the devotees and the Lord of everyone. My dear Lord, as the super soul of all living entities, you remain concealed within their hearts, exactly as fire remains concealed in every piece of fuel. You are the witness of all the activities of the living entities, and you are the supreme controller within their hearts. You are self-sufficient before the creation. You existed. You are self-sufficient before the creation. You existed, and by your energy, you have created all material elements. According to your perfect plan, this material world is created by the interaction of the modes of nature, and by you it is maintained and annihilated. Although you are unaffected by all these activities, you are the supreme controller eternally. My dear Lord, you have advantaged yourself on the surface of this earth just to kill the so-called kings who are actually demons. These hobgoblins are cheating people in the dress of the princely order. You have advantaged yourself to fulfill your own statement that you come within this material world just to protect the principles of religion and annihilate the unwanted miscreants. Prityanaya sadhunam vinasaya chatuskritam. Krishna says he comes to protect the yada yada hi dhammasya grani bhavati party, to protect the principles of religion, to protect the devotees, and to annihilate the miscreants. So Krishna, here we're hearing again this similar glorification of Krishna about his vibhutis, his opulences, just he is actually the Supreme Lord, the maintainer, controller, super soul. Everything is coming from him. Again and again, these great personalities are saying the similar thing. This is to convince us, on the authority of these very great saintly people and others, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, we should have come to this conclusion by now after reading the 9 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. One should have no doubt that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, Narada continues. My dear Lord, I am therefore sure that the day after tomorrow I shall see demons like Chanura and Mustika and the other wrestlers and elephants, as well as Kamsa himself killed by you. Now Narada is predicting the future. I shall see this with my own eyes. After this, I shall be able to see the killing of other demons like Shankar, Javan, Mura, and Narakasura. I shall also see how you take away the Parijata flower from the kingdom of heaven and how you defeat the kingdom of heaven itself. My dear Lord, Narada Muni continued, I shall then be able to see how you marry princesses, the daughters of chivalrous kings, by paying the price of Kshatriya strength. Whenever a Kshatriya wants to marry a very beautiful and qualified daughter of a great king, he must fight his competitors and emerge victorious. Then he is given the hand of the princess in charity. I shall also see how you save King Nirga from a hellish condition, said Narada Muni. This you shall enact in Dwarka. I shall also be able to see how you get your wife and the Shamantaka jewel, and how you have a son of a Brahman, how you save the son of a Brahmana from death after he has already been transferred to another planet. After this, I will be able to see you kill the Pundraka demon and burn to ashes the kingdom of Kashi. I will see how you killed the king of Chedi and Dandavakara during the great sacrifice of Maharaj Yudhishthira. Besides all this, it will be possible for me to see many other chivalrous activities while you remain in Dwarka. And all these activities performed by your grace will be sung by great poets throughout the world. At the Battle of Kurukshetra, you will take part as a chariot driver of your friend Arjuna, and as the invincible death incarnation, eternal time, you will vanquish all belligerents assembled there. I shall see a large number of military forces killed in that battlefield. My Lord, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto your lotus feet. You are situated completely in the transcendental position in perfect knowledge and bliss. You are complete in fulfilling all your desires by exhibiting your internal potency. You have by exhibiting your internal potency, you have set up the influence of Maya. Your unlimited potency cannot ever be measured by anyone. My dear Lord, you are the Supreme Controller. You are under your own internal potency, and it is simply vain to think that you are dependent on any of your creations. You have taken birth in the Yadu dynasty or the Vishnu dynasty. Your event on the surface of the earth in your original form of eternal blissful knowledge is your own pastime. You are not dependent on anything but yourself. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto your lotus feet. After offering his respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna, Narada Muni took permission and left. Here Narada is glorifying, and here Narada Muni, he's talking about the future. Narada Muni, obviously he knows, he's a Trikala Gyan. He knows past, present and future, because he's predicting what will happen. Day after tomorrow I will see you go to Mathura, I will see you kill Kamsa. So Narada Muni is very, very great transcendental authority. So whatever he says about Krishna, we should accept as truth, like all these other great personalities. After he had killed the Keshi demon, Krishna returned to tending the cows with his friends in the forest as though nothing had happened. Thus Krishna is eternally engaged in his transcendental activities in Vrindavan with his friends, the cowherd boys and the gopis. But sometimes he exhibits the extraordinary prowess of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by killing different types of demons. Later that morning, Krishna went to play with his cowherd boyfriends on the top of Govardhan Hill. They were imitating the play of thieves and police. Some of the boys became police constables, and some became thieves, and some took the roles of lambs. While they were thus enjoying their childhood pastimes, a demon by the name of Vyomasura, the demon who flies in the sky, he appeared on the scene. He was the son of another great demon named Maya. These demons can perform wonderful magic. Vyomasura took the part of a cowherd boy, playing as a thief, and stole many boys who were playing the parts of lambs. The demons, mystic power, they can assume any form they like. So this one assumed the form of one of Krishna's cowherd boys. So one after another, he took away almost all the boys and put them in caves of the mountain and sealed the mouth of the cave with stones. Krishna could understand the trick the demon was playing. Therefore, he caught hold of him exactly as a lion catches hold of a lamb. The demon tried to expand himself like a hill to escape arrest, but Krishna did not allow him to get out of his clutches. Mystic power became redundant against Krishna's. Krishna willed to keep him, he willed to expand his form so that Krishna couldn't hold him, but Krishna willed to hold him, so his power was greatly diminished. And Krishna did not allow him to get out of his clutches. He was immediately thrown to the ground with great force and killed, just as an animal is killed in the slaughterhouse, without any mercy. After killing the Vyoma demon, Lord Krishna released all his friends from the caves of the mountain. He was then praised by his friends and by the demigods for these wonderful acts. The demigods, they can see the pastimes sometimes. He again returned to Vrindavan with his cows and friends. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 37th chapter of Krishna killing the Keshi demon and Vyomasura. Prabhu said Krishna used to kill demon every day. Some here, we see 2 in one day, so sometimes more. So Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur's explanation of the Vyomasura Vada. Krishna kills this demon in order to instruct his devotees to give up the company of thieves and other rascals, as well as cheating impostors who disguise themselves as so-called devotees of Lord Krishna. So always keep good association. Krishna took away the bad association, he removed that. Impostors, someone who's posing as a devotee or a friend of Krishna, but actually they come to kill him, like Putana. Chapter 38. Akrura's arrival in Vrindavan. Narada Muni did not mention Krishna's killing Vyomasura, which means that he was killed on the same day as the Keshi demon. The Keshi demon was killed in the early morning, and after that the boys went to tend the cows on Govardhan Hill, and it was there that Vyomasura was killed. Both demons were killed in the morning. Akrura was requested by Kamsa to arrive in Vrindavan by evening. After receiving instructions from Kamsa, Akrura started the next morning via chariot for Vrindavan. Because Akrura himself was a great devotee of the Lord, while going to Vrindavan, he began to pray to the Lord. Devotees are always absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna, and Akrura was constantly thinking of Lord Krishna's lotus eyes. Akrura is our Istadeva for prayers of the 9 devotional processes: Shravanam, Kirtan, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam. So offering the prayers that he is said to be the to represent that anger of bhakti, offering prayers to the Lord. He will offer very many wonderful prayers here. So he's thinking of Krishna on the way to Vrindavan. He did not know what sort of pious activities he must have performed to gain an opportunity to go see Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram in Vrindavan on that day. A pure Vaishnava always thinks himself unfit to serve Krishna. So Akrura began to think within himself that he was unfit for gaining the transcendental opportunity of seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He considered himself as unfit for seeing Krishna, as a materialistic person is for understanding the science of God, or as a 4th-class person, a Sudra, is for studying the Vedas. But then Akrura began to think, by the grace of Krishna, everything is possible, and thus, if he likes, I will be able to see him. Just as a blade of grass floating in the waters of a river may, by chance, come near the shore and gain shelter, a conditioned soul, carried away by the waves of material existence, may sometimes be saved by the grace of Krishna, or Krishna's devotees. Akrura thus thought that if Krishna willed, he would be able to see him. Akrura considered himself most fortunate that he was going to see Krishna, whom great mystic yogis desired to see. He was confident that on that day all the sinful reactions of his past life would be finished and his fortunate human form of life would be successful. Akrura also considered that he was very much favored by Kamsa, who was sending him to bring back Krishna and Balaram, and thus enabling him to see the Lord. Akrura continued to consider that formerly great sages and saintly persons were liberated from the material world simply by seeing the shining nails of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. That Supreme Personality of God has now come just like an ordinary human being, and it is my great fortune to be able to see him face to face. Akrura thought. He was thrilled with the expectation of seeing the very lotus feet which are worshipped by great demigods like Brahma, Narada and Lord Shiva, which traverse the ground of Vrindavan and which touch the breast of the gopis covered with the tinges of kumkum. He thought, I am so fortunate that I will be able to see those very lotus feet on this day, and certainly I shall be able to see the beautiful face of Krishna, which is marked on the forehead and the nose with tilak. I shall also see his smile and his curling black hair. I can be sure of this opportunity because I see today the deer are passing on my right side. These are some auspicious signs. There are auspicious signs and inauspicious signs when one is moving, traveling. So deer passing on the right is auspicious sign. Today it will be possible for me to actually see the beauty of the spiritual kingdom of Vishnu Loka, because Krishna is the Supreme Vishnu, and he has invented himself out of his own good will. He is a reservoir of all beauty. Therefore, today my eyes will achieve perfection. Akrura knew beyond a doubt that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Vishnu. Lord Vishnu glances over the material energy, and thus the cosmic manifestation comes into being. And although Lord Vishnu is the creator of this material world, he is free by his own energy from the influence of the material energy. By his internal potency, he can pierce the darkness of the material energy. Similarly, Krishna, the original Vishnu, by expanding his internal potency, created the inhabitants of Vrindavan. In the Brahma Samhita, it is confirmed that the paraphernalia and the abode of the Lord are expansions of his internal potency. That same internal potency Krishna exhibits in Golok Vrindavan is exhibited in the earthly Vrindavan, where he enjoys himself with his parents and in the company of his friends, the cowherd boys and gopis. By the statement of Akrura, it is clear that since Krishna is transcendental to the modes of material nature, the inhabitants of Vrindavan, who are always engaged in loving service to the Lord, are also transcendental. Akrura also considered the necessity of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. He thought that the transcendental activities, instructions, qualities and pastimes of Krishna are all for the good fortune of people in general. The people can remain constantly in Krishna consciousness by discussing the Lord's transcendental form, qualities, pastimes and paraphernalia. By doing so, the whole universe can actually live auspiciously and advance peacefully. But without Krishna consciousness, civilization is but a decorated dead body. A dead body may be decorated very nicely, but without consciousness, such decorations are useless. Human society without Krishna consciousness is useless and lifeless. So here it seems simplistic that actually just by remembering and discussing the qualities, pastimes, paraphernalia of Krishna, that we can remain Krishna conscious, because Krishna is not different from his body. That we have a difference between us and our bodies. Our bodies are mundane and we are divine. The soul is spiritual, divine inside, but what we are perceiving with our mundane senses is a lifeless material energy. It appears alive because Krishna enters into it, but otherwise Krishna says this is inferior energy. It's superior energy, inferior energy, and where the soul is the marginal energy. But if you're in contact with the superior energy, that is the spiritual energy, the transcendental energy, then that is our benefit, that is our security, that is our safety, that is our. We become transcendental by associating with the transcendental. So Krishna's name is not different from himself. Krishna's form is not different from himself. Krishna's qualities are not different from himself. Krishna's pastimes are not different. They're all the same nature, because he doesn't perform his activities within the mundane energy or the inferior energy. He performs those activities in the spiritual. Although it appears that everything is what we see, the pastimes with Krishna performing, they're actually performed on the transcendental level. It means Krishna comes here with all his associates, which he expands into, his mother, father, boyfriends, girlfriends, etc. They come here, the Dham, Vrindavan manifest. So he's performing his pastimes as normal, and then sometimes ordinary souls are coming into that pastime. It's like these demons, and Krishna is killing them, liberating them, as they come and join his pastimes. Then ordinary people, they're seeing the pastimes or hearing the pastimes, but they're not material thing. It's like a bubble, a spiritual bubble within the material world that Krishna is living in. So if we're in contact with that, then we're free, we're insulated from the effects of the material energy. So this way it's purifying us. And the other side, it's actually we're contacting the transcendence. So that is, it's actually transcendental. So bhakti begins on the transcendental or liberated platform. So one's business is how to stay in contact with this transcendental energy while you're in the material world. Now the trick is to do that 24 hours a day. So you can always hear about, remember, talk about, discuss, chant Krishna's name, things like that. His glories, his pastimes. This will keep you in contact with the spiritual energy, and this will burn off the effects of the material energy in the form of karmas that will gradually dissolve. So this is transcendental. That's what it means by transcendental. Transcendental, above the mundane. Akrura thought, that Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna has now appeared as one of the descendants of the Yadu dynasty. The principles of religion are his enacted laws. Those who are abiding by such laws are demigods, and those who are not abiding are demons. He has avenged himself to give protection to the demigods who are very obedient to the laws of the Supreme Lord. The demigods and the devotees of the Lord take pleasure in abiding by the laws of Krishna, and Krishna takes pleasure in giving them all sorts of protection. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, these activities of Krishna, he's protecting the devotees and killing the demons, are always good for men to hear and narrate. The glorious activities of the Lord will ever increasingly be chanted by the devotees and demigods. 5,000 years later, we're still chanting these glories and discussing them. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the spiritual master of all spiritual masters. He is the deliverer of all fallen souls and the protector of the three worlds. Anyone who is able to see him with eyes smeared with love of Godhead enjoys the festival of seeing. Today I shall be able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who, by his transcendental beauty, has attracted the goddess of fortune to live with him perpetually. As soon as I arrive in Vrindavan, I will get down from this chariot and fall prostrate to offer my obeisances to the Supreme Lord, the master of the material nature and all living entities. The lotus feet of Krishna are always worshipped by great mystic yogis. So I shall also worship his lotus feet and become one of his friends in Vrindavan, like the cowherd boys. Very advanced, Akrura. He's experienced here some Brajabhav, even though he's a Mathura-vasi. When I bow down before Lord Krishna in that way, certainly he will place his fearless lotus hand on my head. His hand is offered to all conditioned souls who take shelter under his lotus feet. Krishna is the ultimate goal of life for all people who fear material existence. And certainly, when I see him, he will give me shelter of his lotus feet. I am aspiring for the touch of his lotus-like hand on my head. When that hand touched the presentations of King Indra and King Bali, these two became qualified to be lords of the universe. And when that hand touched the gopis as they danced with Krishna in the Ras Leela, it relieved all their fatigue. In this way, Akrura expected blessings from the hand of Krishna. Exciting, huh? Imagine you're going to see Krishna and Balaram, driving on the chariot to Vrindavan to see them face to face. So Akrura is feeling very ecstatic because he's a great devotee. He knew that Indra, who is the king of heaven and master of the three worlds, the upper, middle and lower planetary systems, was blessed by the Lord simply for offering a little water, which Krishna accepted. Similarly, Bali Maharaj gave only 3 paces of land in charity to Vamadev, and he also offered a little water, which Lord Vamadev accepted. And thereby Bali Maharaj attained the position of Indra. That was later. Of course, he went to Sutala Loka, Bali Raj, as Vamadev pushed him down to Sutala, which is a subterranean heavenly planet, very opulent. But because he surrendered everything to Krishna, Atmanivedana, Krishna gave him a very exalted position. And because he actually desired, when he was with the demons, to control the heavenly planets. Then after his term in Sutala Loka, he's a king down there, which is very opulent and very fearless place. Then he got to take the position of Lord Indra. So he got his desire fulfilled in a most wonderful way, that not by force but by Krishna's mercy he got that, simply by surrendering to Krishna. When the gopis were dancing with Krishna in the Ras Leela, they became fatigued, and Krishna wiped his hand, which is as fragrant as a lotus flower growing in the Manasarovar lake, over the pearl-like drops of perspiration on the faces of the gopis, and immediately the gopis became refreshed. Thus Akrura was expecting benedictions from that supreme hand of Krishna. Krishna's hand is capable of bestowing benediction upon all kinds of men if they take to Krishna consciousness. If one wants material happiness, like the King of Heaven, he can derive that benefit from the hand of Krishna. If one wants liberation from the pangs of material existence, he can also get that benediction from the hand of Krishna. And if one, in pure transcendental love of Krishna, wants personal association and the touch of his transcendental body, he can also gain that benediction from the Lord. So whether you're a kami, a jnani, or a bhakta, all means go to Krishna can fulfill all your desires. Akrura was afraid, however, of being deputed by Kamsa, the enemy of Krishna. He thought, I'm going to see Krishna as a messenger of the enemy. At the same time he thought, Krishna is in everyone's heart as a supersoul, so he must know my heart. Although Akrura was trusted by the enemy of Krishna, his heart was clear. He was a pure devotee of Krishna. He risked becoming Kamsa's deputy just to meet Krishna. He was certain that although he was going as a representative of Kamsa, Krishna would not accept him as an enemy. Even though I am on a sinful mission, being deputed by Kamsa, when I approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I shall stand before him with all humility and folded hands. Surely he will be pleased with my devotional attitude, and maybe he will smile lovingly and look upon me, and thereby free me from all kinds of sinful reaction. I shall then be on the platform of transcendental bliss and knowledge. Kamsa, he sent Akrura because Krura is a relative. And so he's the uncle of Krishna. I think he's Kunti's brother, yeah, Krura. But he was in Mathura. Some of the Yadus, they left when Kamsa got there, out of fear. But some stayed there, and they had to serve him. Although they didn't particularly like him very much, but so he was also a relative of in that dynasty. So Kamsa trusted him, but he's saying Krishna won't see me as an enemy because he knew what Kamsa wanted to do, bring Krishna there, Mathura, so he could try to kill him. But he said, Krishna knows my heart. My heart is not like that. I want only the best for Krishna. So surely he will understand me because he's a super soul. He will, not only am I a member of the Yadu dynasty, but I am his relative and an unalloyed pure devotee. By his merciful embrace, surely my body, heart and soul will be completely cleansed of the actions and reactions of my past life. When our bodies touch, I will immediately stand up with folded hands with all humility. Certainly Krishna and Balaram will call me Akrura, uncle, and at that time my whole life will be glorious. Unless one is recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his life cannot be successful. It is clearly stated here that one should try to be recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead by one's service and devotion, without which the human form of life is condemned. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord, the Supreme Lord, the Personality of God, is equal to everyone. He has no friends and no enemies, but he is inclined to the devotee who renders him service with devotional love. The Bhagavad Gita also declares that the Supreme Lord is responsive in proportion to the devotional service rendered by the devotees. Akrura thought that Krishna was like the desire tree in the heavenly planets, which gives fruit according to the desire of the worshipper. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is also the source of everything. A devotee must know how to render service to him and thus be recognized by him. Prabhupada used to say, quoting his spiritual master, don't try to see Krishna, you act in such a way that Krishna will see you. In other words, you please Krishna. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is therefore explained that one should serve both the spiritual master and Krishna simultaneously, and in that way make progress in Krishna consciousness. Service rendered to Krishna under the direction of the spiritual master is bona fide service because the spiritual master is a manifested representative of Krishna. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that when one satisfies the spiritual master, he satisfies the Supreme Lord. It is exactly like service in a government office. One has to work under the supervision of the departmental head. If the supervisor of the department is satisfied with the service of a particular person, a promotion and increase in pay will automatically come. Akrura then thought, when Krishna and Balaram are pleased with my behavior, certainly they will take my hand, receive me within their home, and offer me all kinds of respectable hospitalities. And they will surely ask me about the activities of Kamsa and his friends. In this way, Akrura, the son of Svapalka, meditated on Sri Krishna on his journey from Mathura. He reached Vrindavan by the end of the day. Akrura passed the whole journey without knowing how long it took. He was simply absorbed in remembering Krishna and praying to Krishna. When he reached Vrindavan, the sun was setting. As soon as he entered the boundary of Vrindavan, he saw the hoofprints of the cows and Lord Krishna's hoofprints, impressed with the signs of his souls, the flag, trident, thunderbolt, and lotus flower. These symbols on the lotus soles of the Lord's transcendental lotus feet are worshipped by all the demigods and other great personalities throughout the three worlds. Upon seeing the footprints of Krishna, Akrura immediately jumped down from the chariot out of respect. He became overwhelmed with the symptoms of ecstasy. He wept and his body trembled. Out of extreme jubilation upon seeing the dust touched by the lotus feet of Krishna, Akrura fell flat on his face and began to roll on the ground. Akrura's journey to Vrindavan is exemplary. One who intends to visit Vrindavan should follow the ideal footsteps of Akrura and always think of the pastimes and activities of the Lord. As soon as one reaches the boundary of Vrindavan, he should immediately smear the dust of Vrindavan over his body without thinking of his material position and prestige. This is the activity of when you begin the prikram, dham prikram. Actually, when you approach the outskirts of the dham, you should do this, fall down in the dust. Leave your false ego there. Cover your body with the dust, and then you go enter the dham, in the mood of a servant, a beggar, begging for Krishna's mercy, hoping for Krishna's mercy. and you leave the full figure outside. That is the protocol. So Akrura did this. But you can imagine, Krishna is actually present there. You go there, you'll see Krishna's footprints in the dust. That means very soon you're going to see him. You can see his footprints by the different marks, the lotus, the elephant goat, the flag, thunderbolt, etc. So Akrura became very ecstatic. Srila Narottam Das Thakur sang a celebrated song, Vishaya Charya Kabhi Shuddha Habiman. When my mind will be purified, after leaving the contamination of material sense material sense enjoyment, shall I be able to visit Vrindavan? Actually, one cannot go to Vrindavan by purchasing a ticket. The process of going to Vrindavan is shown by Akrura. When Akrura entered Vrindavan, he saw Krishna and Balaram. I'll just read this up because finish off this chapter. When Akrura entered Vrindavan, he saw Krishna and Balaram engaged in supervising the milking of the cows. Krishna was dressed in yellow garments and Balaram in bluish. Akrura also saw that the eyes were exactly like the beautiful lotus flower that grows during the autumn season. He saw Krishna and Balaram in the spring of their youth. Although they had the same bodily features, Krishna was blackish in complexion, whereas Balaram was whitish. Both were the shelter of the goddess of fortune. They had well-constructed bodies, beautiful hands, and pleasing faces. They were as strong as elephants. Now, after seeing their footprints marked with the flag, trident, thunderbolt, and lotus, Akrura actually saw Krishna and Balaram face to face. Although they were the most influential personalities, they were glancing at him with smiling faces. Akrura could understand that both Krishna and Balaram had returned from tending cows in the forest. They had taken their baths and were dressed with fresh clothing and garlanded with flowers and with necklaces made of valuable jewels. Their bodies were smeared with the pulp of sandalwood. Akrura greatly appreciated the aroma of the flowers and sandalwood and their bodily presence. He considered himself very fortunate to see Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his plenary expansion, Balaram, face to face, for he knew that they were the original personalities of the creation. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Krishna is the original personality of Godhead and cause of all causes. Akrura could understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared personally for the welfare of his creation, to re-establish the principles of religion and to annihilate the demons. With their body effulgence, the brothers were dissipating all the darkness of the world as if they were mountains of sapphire and silver. Without hesitating, Akrura immediately got down from his chariot and fell just like a rod before Krishna and Balaram. Upon touching the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he became overwhelmed with transcendental bliss. His voice choked up and he could not speak. Due to his transcendental pleasure, incessant torrents of tears fell from his eyes. He remained stunned in ecstasy, as if devoid of all power to see and speak. Lord Krishna, who is very kind to his devotees, raised Akrura with his hand and embraced him. It appeared that Lord Krishna was very pleased with Akrura. Balaram also embraced Akrura. Taking him by the hand, Krishna and Balaram brought him to their sitting room, where they offered him a very nice sitting place and water for washing his feet. They also worshipped him with suitable presentation of honey mixed with other ingredients, madhupaka. When Akrura was thus comfortably seated, Krishna and Balaram offered him a cow in charity and then bought very palatable dishes, and Akrura accepted them. So Akrura knows that this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his first expansion, Balaram. He knows who they are. Yet they come and receive him, they wash his feet, and they feed him. This is because in the Leela, he's their uncle, he's an elder, so they're behaving according to the accepted etiquette. When Akrura finished eating, Balaram gave him betel nut and spices as well as sandalwood pulp just to make him more pleased and comfortable. The Vedic system of receiving a guest was completely observed by Lord Krishna himself to teach all others how to receive a guest at home. It is a Vedic injunction that even if a guest is an enemy, he should be received so well that he does not apprehend any danger from the host. If the host is a poor man, he should at least offer a straw mat as a sitting place and a glass of water to drink. Krishna and Balaram welcomed Akrura in a way just befitting his exalted position. He was in the ministry of Kamsa. After Akrura was thus properly received and seated, Nanda Maharaj, the foster father of Krishna, said, "My dear Akrura, what shall I inquire from you? I know that you are being protected by Kamsa, who is most cruel and demoniac. His protection is just like the slaughterhouse keeper's protection of animals he will kill in the future." Kamsa is so selfish that he has killed the sons of his own sister. So how can I honestly believe that he is protecting the citizens of Mathura? This statement is most significant. If the political or executive head of the state are simply interested in themselves, they can never look after the welfare of the citizens. As Nanda Maharaj spoke to Akrura with pleasing words, Akrura forgot all the fatigue of his day's journey from Mathura to Vrindavan. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 38th chapter of Krishna, Akrura's arrival in Vrindavan. Jai Mahatma Akrura ki Jai, Krishna Balaram ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Hai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. We will continue after 1 week, because for the next 7 days, Krishna, along with Sri Radha, will take a boat ride in the temple. You can see it on your Mayapur TV. Nokka Vilas, this festival is called. So for 7 days, between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock, Radha and Madhava will sit in a boat and have a nice ride, cooling ride around the pond. But thank you for joining. Hope to see you next week. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki Jai. Hey, Bob.